TRIAS is getting ready to do some explosive stuff. However, it could implode along with the rest of crypto because of what's happening on Bitcoin. This is a TRIAS video, but the primary indicator for TRIAS, I'm telling you what's going to be able to give you an edge and be nimble to flip positions if you need and do it very accurately is going to be on the Bitcoin chart. Here are the 4 things that you need on your Bitcoin chart. I've covered this on my other videos. You can just go to my Bitcoin videos and take a look at how to draw this origin line. But we have this origin line. We have the weekly 10. Daily 89 up top, which is the upper resistance, and the daily 10 as support. Daily 10 support right in the middle of the range. So bottom range, top of range, essentially the target range, and then the weekly 10 and origin line in the middle. And what's happening here is historically when the daily 89 and sometimes even the weekly 10, but when they approach an origin line and price cannot get above the upper resistance, it just accelerates down. It stimulates essentially the next capitulation move or the capitulation move, which we've already had one, but this could be the next leg, and it could take 1 to 2 more weeks to play out. I'm thinking it could happen next week, but it also propels the next large leg of a rally when Bitcoin gets above its daily 89 and as it approaches the origin line. It could explode either way. We're thinking about the next 14 days. So you're going to want to flip back and forth between TRIAS and Bitcoin. Since TRIAS follows Bitcoin fairly closely and it's playing with the same EMAs, you need to pair these together. These are the tools you need. Just use basic support and resistance. If Bitcoin is under the weekly 10 using as support, well, I mean, you're essentially trapped in the bottom of the range. Right now, it's barely above the weekly 10, but below the origin line, so it's kind of in no man's land. If it can get above the weekly 10, use the origin line as support, that's where it's going, and TRIAS will lift off too, and that will be your primary indicator. Bitcoin goes above the origin line, use as support, starts ticking back up, bam, TRIAS is going to go up, and let's go take a look at the TRIAS chart to tell where it's going to go, or to where it would break down if that happens. Let's get it. It might help if I get the TRIAS chart pulled up. All right, here we go. So you have the same 3 EMAs roughly in the same type of structure. You don't have the same origin line because this isn't Bitcoin. This is TRIAS chart. And so the daily 10, you can use the MTF EMA indicator. Click, take off my banner over here. Boom. You can click the MTF indicator by going to indicators, typing in MTF space EMA. It's by FX_Massa. And to put on the daily 10, the weekly 10, and the daily 89. I'm personally on the 15-minute chart looking at those large EMAs. And the same thing is true. You start getting a little bit worried about TRIAS price breaking down if it does 2 things. Both goes under the lowest EMA at whatever point. So, for example, if the white EMA has crossed up and then red is now on bottom, if it goes below the bottom one, use that as resistance and ticks down, that's when you're going to essentially break down. The rally would essentially be over at that point, and you'll see Bitcoin roughly doing the same thing. It's going to move along with Bitcoin, but Bitcoin might do it first. So that's the key. If you see Bitcoin doing it, but TRIAS hasn't quite done it yet, you know, oh shit, this is a great exit point. Not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor, but Bitcoin might do it before TRIAS, and it would help you get out of a position before a breakdown, right? So you can tether up and get some more down lower. All right. And that's why I suggest flipping back between Bitcoin chart and TRIAS chart if you're trading this stuff. All right. Now, you do have the bullish cross getting ready to happen. So when this crosses above, that's bullish. It's going to spike price up. And because you have a horizontal resistance up here where a lot of sellers will come in, and EMA sellers will come in here, I think that TRIAS, unlike Bitcoin, will... so Bitcoin has its horizontal resistance exactly here. So TRIAS is likely, if it pops up, because of this bullish cross, it's likely going to hit it could hit $2 even. It'll be about $1.94 to $2 even, get a pullback, and then that could be a reversal from this point, or it could be a higher low and then continue on from there. The most bullish possible thing I can see happening is it gets above $1.95, comes back and lands on the weekly 10, or even, it'll probably, the daily 89. It could fly above $2 at like 203, but if that happens, it's going to come back to the daily 89 regardless and settle down before then lifting off again if Bitcoin is on its way beyond 25K. So this move up first to about $2, $1.94 to $2 is going to happen at the same time Bitcoin is making a leg up to $25. If Bitcoin goes up to $25 and it's not a fake out, which is possible, it is possible, all right? That's why we're using these indicators to tell, oh shit, if it starts coming back below this and use that as resistance, well, fuck, it's coming back down to the next EMA. If it uses that as resistance, shit, it's over, right? Like the rally's done, that was a fake out. You're going to be able to tell by the way candles interact with these EMAs, both on Bitcoin and Trias going back and forth. So that's how you play the fake out, is you don't guess fake out, you don't anticipate fake out, rather you know it's a possibility and you know how to react and when it becomes probable or begins becoming probable. Once you get above the daily 89 on Trias, all right, let's say it hits it, pulls back, but it gets above, and Bitcoin hit 25K at that point. If Bitcoin starts then breaking down and then you see Trias go below the daily 89, well, you know the next thing it's going to hit is the weekly 10. If it goes below the weekly 10 and you use it as resistance, you know that was it. That's done, and the rally's over, right? So that's how you play the fake out and or a breakdown. But there is a strong possibility that Bitcoin is going all the way up to 30K. I'm telling you, there's some stuff in the charts that is saying it could actually be more than that. That's possibly going to make its own like a little mini cycle for a whole year. This is this is a pretty big time in crypto. I'm not going to lie. All right. Anyway, so but it's in the middle. Like it literally it's undecided which way it's going to go at this point. Anyway. So the upper price targets for Trias, if Bitcoin is to hit 30K, well, you have a pretty obvious one up here. I mean, it's gonna, so the very highest I could see it going is $2.50. That's a pretty obvious one. So Bitcoin 30K, Trias could be close to 250. If Trias does not perform extremely well during the run up to 30K, the next option is actually, these are nice freaking round numbers. So you got 250, you got shit. You got $2, you got 225, and you got 250. That's weird. Those are really cyclical. So just add a quarter. There you go. Those are your three next upper resistances. However, these top two are likely not going to happen unless Bitcoin has gotten above 25K and starts making local highs and on its way to 28 to 30K. That's when these two get initiated. Trias will likely hit around $2 if Bitcoin makes the first leg up to 25K, which could be a fake out. So keep that in mind. I'm not necessarily suggesting selling all your Trias at $2 because it could just pull back a little bit for a day and then spike up to here as Bitcoin does the same thing. But the way to be nimble, I'm telling you, is how the smaller candles, like 5 minute, 1 hour, are interacting with the major EMAs on both Bitcoin and Trias. That's how you're going to play this right and be nimble, because a few things could happen. 250 could happen. Or it could hit $2 in reverse, along with Bitcoin hitting 25K and reversing, and that was all a fake out. There are a lot of things that can get ready to happen. Or things could break down now, in which you'd see that on the Trias chart by going below the white line, which is the daily 10, and using it as resistance, and then you're going to break down and go back into this trading channel. You're going to come straight back and hit this line. It will hit this line whenever it happens, and that could be around $1.12. That's where it'll go, because it broke out of this mega channel. And it will ignore horizontals on the way down there, and it'll hit that channel line. But that's far away from happening, because it's above its weekly 10, which is a huge indicator, and a huge EMA, and Bitcoin's not breaking down. And traditional markets are firing up at the end of the week. They're going to close so strong. Very strong closure. So I really think the pressure's up right now, with the idea that this all could be a fake out. But for Trias fans, I just showed you how to play a fake out, how to read a fake out, how to read an immediate breakdown, and how to read things charging up to 2.25 and 250 when Bitcoin finally gets above 25K with a vengeance. And hopefully these levels and how to play these levels and how to set up the EMAs have been helpful for you. You just got Tim Fat worldwide. Enjoy the weekend.